So, we're about halfway through the season, and we lost to the Jets. We let the worst team in the NFL come back from a 14-point deficit late in the fourth quarter. And this is just one game so far this season. We're about halfway through. So, how has the team done so far this season? The team started out slow and cold, as it has done for most of Zach Taylor's teams. However, we did start 2-0. Now, I have no logical evidence to back up this claim, but this might have been the worst 2-0 team ever. This team was a top 10 offense last year, but in the opener this year, our offense had a measly 141 yards. This is still the lowest amount of yards an offense has had so far this year. The last team to go for less yards and still win was in 2017, when the Seahawks beat the Cowboys 21-12. We beat Joe Flacco and the Browns and moved on to week 2, where true disaster struck. Joe Burrow went down with grade 3 turf toe against the Jags in week 2. At least we won that one. Jake Browning came in and won us the game, but it was close. It was never that close next week in Minneapolis, where we fumbled the ball 3 times within 6 plays. This game was comically bad. Browning did not help either with 2 interceptions of his own. Then we were put onto Monday Night Football, where the Denver Broncos sat us in the corner with 28-3. The rushing side of the ball was about as bland as it could be, with Chase Brown going for 40 yards. His lack of production this year should be studied. Last year, he was averaging around 84 yards total in a game. This year so far, he's averaging 64 yards, an almost 25% drop-off. His worst game had to be against the Vikings in week 3, where he would run 10 times for 3 yards. The next week against Detroit, he wouldn't do much better, going for 27 yards over 8 rushes. The Detroit game was nasty, but we kept it, I guess, somewhat close, but watching the game, it never even felt like that. After Detroit and leading the league in interceptions, Jake Browning was pulled off at the starting spot in Cincinnati. The Bengals would pull a small trade for veteran 40-year-old Joe Flacco, who they had actually already beaten earlier in the season. Feelings were high, and Flacco brought optimism. While they couldn't beat the Green Bay Packers at home, the Bengals looked like they made some improvements, making no turnovers as well as attempting a late comeback. I didn't expect to win this game, so coming out of it with some benefit was a nice surprise. We've only had one good game this season, one really good game so far. It was beating the Steelers, which is a very nice plus. The Unk Bowl was a great Thursday night football game that combined for 866 yards, a fantastic electric game where hardly any defense was played. But then this week we fell into the Jets' trap game, allowing them to make a late comeback and beat us to push us down to 3-5. This could be a worse record, and maybe it should be. We are on the outside of the wildcard window as of now, but it wouldn't be impossible to crawl out. We are undefeated in the AFC North, however we have yet to play the Ravens, who have been missing Lamar Jackson in the backfield and are 2-5 at this point. We play them late in the season, one of which being in Baltimore on Thanksgiving. It's going to be hard to make the playoffs. We don't need to win out, but we will need to win 7 of our last 9 games to make the postseason, with still playing all of our divisional opponents left, as well as having to play 2 top 10 offenses in the Bills and Patriots later this season. This is going to be an uphill battle. Right now, the defense is at the bottom of the barrel. I was giving Al Golden the benefit of the doubt, but the fact is that we are the worst defense in the NFL, allowing 31.6 points per game. Last season, we saw the best quarterback in the NFL lead us to a 9-win season on his back because our defense has let him down. Now we're on our 3rd defensive player coming out requesting a trade from the team. 1 player doing that could be a diva. 2 players doing that could be an incident of some sort. 3 defensive players all requesting to be traded and leave the team. Something feels wrong. The vibes on the defense are definitely off. I don't know who to blame, but there is some kind of issue here, and the team will not get better unless that issue is addressed and handled. Anyway, next week looks unfortunately pretty tough. Head coach Zach Taylor says that Flacco is 50-50 for playing the game on Sunday at Cincinnati. Meanwhile, the Bears' offense is booming. Deandre Swift is performing the best he has in his whole career. Caleb Williams isn't really looking like a generational player right now, but he has been serviceable in Chicago, and the Bears have taken a step up in his sophomore year. It's looking like this will be yet another high-scoring, close game if we end up scoring at all. With Flacco being 50-50 for starting on Sunday, I can absolutely see Jake Browning be in the backfield. I started week 2 by thinking that we could see flashes of the 2023 Browning, and while we have also seen him throw 8 interceptions so far this season. So considering that the Bears are leading the league in takeaways with 16, I really hope this game goes well. Meanwhile, around the league in Week 8, we saw the Chiefs destroy the Commanders on Monday Night Football, while the Packers got revenge on Rodgers on Sunday Night Football. The Falcons make me feel lucky to be a Bengals fan. While we both suck, there is something truly more heartbreaking when it comes to being a Falcons fan. The Browns lost, big shocker I know, and the Pats and Colts are at the top of the AFC still. How is it going in Kentucky? Still at the bottom of the SEC, I see. Ripped to shreds against Tennessee, yet again. Cutter did well, though. He did so well. It's nice to see us have a true homegrown talent on the field, but with how college football works, he's going to be at LSU next year. Bully threw for 5 touchdowns and ran out of the pocket 7 times. I hope he stays here because having him to look forward to in football season would be a godsend because Stoops is one of the worst coaches to watch, period. At least Kentucky basketball starts next week. Beating preseason number 1 Purdue in an exhibition game might not be anything on paper, but the fact that we did so while having 2 starters out, yeah, I'm hyped for hoops. Go Cats. Thank you all so very much for watching. Leave a like below if you enjoyed this video. Leave a comment if you got something to say. And as always, subscribe to Big Lex for more weekly football videos. I'll see you next week.